Day before, ceremonies are set to start in the Ram temple just weeks before, because remember, this is going to be taking place towards the end of January. CPIM is saying they will not be attending the Pran Pratishtha ceremony of the Ram temple in Ayodhya. To some degree, this is consistent with previous stands they've talked about. For example, they've made it very clear back in August 2020 that they wouldn't be attending the Bhumi Pujan ceremony for the Grand Ram Temple. You'd also had them make similar statements very recently. Sitaram Yechury, the General Secretary, again turning down the invitation for the Ram Temple. Now, what reason has the CPIM given for this? You've had key leaders say that this is the politicization of a religious program, and so they will not be attending. Take a look. This is Brinda Dige.
नहीं, हमारी पार्टी नहीं जाएगी। हमने बिल्कुल स्पष्ट किया है और इसके पीछे हमारी एक बुनियादी समझ है। हालांकि धार्मिक भावनाओं की हम पूरे कदर करते हैं और पूरे देश में एक धार्मिक भावना होती है, उसका भी हम कदर करते हैं, लेकिन इस प्रकार की धार्मिक अनुष्ठान आप राजनीति के साथ जोड़कर धर्म को एक राजनीतिक हथियार और राजनीतिक मंशा को लेकर आप इस्तेमाल करेंगे। हमारी समझ में ये देश की संवैधानिक प्रावधान कि हिंदुस्तान का जो सत्ता है वो सत्ता किसी धार्मिक रंग का नहीं होना चाहिए। ये वो सही नहीं है जो ये लोग कर रहे हैं।
That is senior CPIM leader Brinda Karat, not Brinda Dige, as I misidentified her a little earlier. Let's go over right now to two reporters who we have with us for more context on the story. First, we'll go over to our colleague Rupashri to understand more. Rupashri, the CPIM has been consistent on this stance for the last few years now, right from their statements about the Bhumi Pujan back in August 2 years ago to statements coming out from Sitaram Yechury a little earlier this month itself. Can you tell us more? Can you shed light on the party's stance?
Well, the party is absolutely consistent. In fact, the party is, one of those few political parties in the country which actually, practices its own definition of secularism, that it keeps religion and politics completely separate. And in many of the CPM's own meetings, has been discussed as to whether this reason of not being able to give a space or accommodate the religious sentiments of people has led to the CPM not growing at all in the country. But that is another story. Now, I also had a word with CPM Politburo member Brinda Karat, and she told me clearly that nobody should be surprised that the CPM is not going. And she said that the General Secretary Sitaram Yechury also will not go. The reason she said that while we respect the faith and the belief of the people of the country, but this politicization of a religious ceremony, the use of the state and the government in a religious ceremony, and is contrary to what the CPM believes, that is, religion and politics should be kept separate, that the state and religion should be kept separate, and that is the reason why the CPM will not go for the ceremony. She also said that it is contrary to Supreme Court's own guidelines of the fact that the state should not acquire a religious color, and therefore the CPM will not attend that ceremony. Remember, CPM is one of those parties which has been very consistent and very open about its stand, not willing to tread the lines of soft Hindutva as many other political parties have done, and therefore it will not attend that ceremony. Okay. Remember, it is set to happen on 22nd of January, and many other important political leaders have also been invited, and it remains to be seen which of those leaders, apart from BJP-led NDA parties, actually turn up and attend that ceremony, right, because it is going to send a signal ahead of the 2024 election.
Right. Rupashri, you've raised a very important point. What about the other opposition parties? Let's go over to our colleague Pallavi to understand more. Pallavi, in the INDI alliance, the CPIM has played a particularly interesting role because they've said many times that they will cooperate with the entire alliance, but they've seemed to make it clear that they also want distance. For example, they didn't want to be part of the central coordination panel. Pallavi, can you tell us, if we just take a look at all of the INDI rainbow coalition that it is, what have different leaders said in the INDI coalition towards attending this ceremony in a few weeks from now?
See, unlike the CPIM, the other political parties in the India spectrum will find it very difficult to say no to go to a Ram Mandir. In fact, from the Congress party itself, Sonia Gandhi, Mr. Mallikarjun Kharge and Adhir Ranjan Chaudhary have already received invites for that ceremony to take place on 22nd. And what top Congress sources have told us, that while we don't know who exactly will be going, but the Congress party will definitely be represented at the Ram Mandir the convocation or the pujan. Similar is going to be true, of course, I guess, about the Trinamool Congress, RJD for that matter. See, unlike the CPIM, which has always maintained a distance from these kind of rituals and are also considered to be atheists as far as a religious ideology is concerned, but their objection to the Ram Mandir ceremonies on the grounds that you cannot mix religion with politics. The stand of the Congress and the TMC has also been that. But that's been talk really, Toya. When it comes to real politics, it's very difficult for them to distance themselves from it. Because if they really wanted to do so, then you wouldn't have seen that soft Hindutva being pushed by the Congress party. You wouldn't have seen, say, a Rahul Gandhi or Priyanka Gandhi Vadra going across to temples ahead of every important state election results. And similarly with the case of Mamata Banerjee. I mean, let's not forget that in the last state elections, it was BJP who kept on calling her anti-Hindu. And she had to consistently prove herself by saying, I do the Chandi part, I do the Shakti Puja, Ma Durga Puja and so on and so forth. And therefore, I'm as much of a Hindu as the BJP claims to do so. So that kind of a pressure will certainly come on parties like the TMC and the Congress, particularly in an election year. So for them to take a line which the CPIM has taken becomes difficult. And second, very quickly, Toya, of course, the shadow of the CPIM stand will be reflected over the rest of the India front, because the BJP will make that an issue, just as they made the Sanatan Dharma an issue and asked questions of the Congress that do you agree with the DMK on the Sanatan Dharma stand? Here too, because Sitaram Yechuri is considered to be very, very close to Rahul Gandhi, left as an ally of the Congress in Bengal and even at the central level, I think this shadow will definitely be cast over the India Front Alliance, and the BJP will certainly put them on a back foot.
Pallavi, can I ask you to stay with us, because I want to come back to you to understand more about the way in which the Congress and other INDI parties are looking at this, apart from the CPIM. Right now, we have Anila Singh from the BJP with us on the phone. Let me go over to her to understand more. Ms. Singh, Brinda Karat, senior CPIM leader, making this statement. Very consistent, though, I do want to once again highlight for our audiences, with other statements that the CPIM has made in the last few months, in fact, even in the last few years, regarding whether or not they would attend any ceremonies around this temple. Can you tell us, Anila, what is the BJP's first reaction?
My round to all, and I am not at all surprised. This is the behavior, this is the characteristic of all the political parties who are in this Ghamandiya alliance. They call themselves India Alliance, or I can say because India is the picture of Angreziyat. So they do not value our culture, they do not value our past. And we know it very well that whether we talk about the leftists, whether we talk about the Congress party, whether we talk about the Samajwadi party or any XYZ political party in this alliance, they never wanted Ram Lalla Mandir to be constructed. Now Bhavya Ram Mandir is getting constructed in Ayodhya. That is the biggest problem.
Okay.
The hatred for Bhagwan Shri Ram is reflecting by the behavior. And we cannot see any sort of reaction from any of the political party who can give some good sense to these people.
Ma'am, a quick question.
The only political, I just have to say one more thing here.
Okay, go ahead.
The only political party in this nation is Bharatiya Janata Party, who has always stood with the cause of Ram Lalla Mandir.
Okay. Let me ask you, ma'am, let me just ask you a quick question here. If the Congress were to join us on the show and point to, for example, Madhya Pradesh, where you've had Kamal Nath in the run-up to the elections that just took place there, visit many temples. You've had that happen many times. Rahul Gandhi's visited many temples. The Congress has tried to highlight their role in this, and they're a party that seems to, as of now, from what we know, may even attend the ceremonies that take place in a few weeks from now. If the INDIA alliance argues that each of our parties is able to practice what they want, that in itself is a metaphor for our country. How would the BJP respond to that?
If we talk about Congress party, so chuhe khakar billi chali haj ko. We know that how Congress party has created hindrances, hurdles that Bhagwan Shri Ram should not have his own mandir there in Ayodhya.
Okay.
The tall leaders of Congress party, they argued in Supreme Court that temple should not be constructed, the construction should be delayed. This is what the Congress party has done.
Okay.
So even if they come there in the inauguration, history will be history, and nobody is going to forget that.
Okay. Ms. Singh, thank you for joining us. We'll try to have the Congress respond. We'll try to have their spokespeople here too. Let's go back to our colleague Pallavi, though, who was bringing us context on this entire story. Pallavi, as you perhaps predicted just a few minutes ago, the BJP taking a line that we expected, that look, this shows the character of the whole INDI alliance. Pallavi, Anila Singh right now saying, okay, we'll have to go back to my colleague Pallavi and my colleague Rupashri. Pallavi, Anila Singh, all right, we've been able to establish that connection. Anila Singh, who we just spoke to from the BJP, said that if you look at the historical record, the 90s, the early 2000s, the Congress didn't want this to happen. The history books speak differently. Pallavi, can you walk us down the history lane? What is correct in what Anila Singh is implying and what is incorrect?
See, this blame has always come in from on Rajiv Gandhi, particularly from the BJP, for unlocking the locks of the Babri Masjid and therefore thereby triggering off a controversy which really shouldn't have taken place, because the Hindu side has always claimed that Ram Mandir was there and Babri Masjid was on a property which actually belonged and where the Ram Mandir was. So therefore that blame has always come in on the Congress party, particularly from the BJP, especially when the Congress always peddles its soft Hindutva on. That is one point, and therefore it is, I would say the Congress would be very, very defensive. And one more reason why the Congress would very much want to be a part of the Ram Mandir ceremony, which is going to take place on 22nd of January. And despite a stand may be taken by the CPIM or by the DMK, the Congress wouldn't want to be seen politically and religiously on the wrong side. You know, Ram Mandir is an emotive matter. It really matters as far as the Astha of the people of India are concerned. Apart from the fact that for 2024 Lok Sabha elections, this is also going to become a very powerful political weapon or a narrative as well. And that also explains why the Congress party would not want to be seen not attending that particular ceremony or the pujan on 22nd. However, the BJP will never want to give that political advantage to the Congress, blaming it for the Babri Masjid controversy and saying that you were the ones, Rajiv Gandhi was anti-Hindu, and this is something which is always going to be hurting them. Second, very quickly, Toya, you remember when the Sanatan Dharm controversy had broken out, initially the Congress was not taking a stand nor issuing a clarification because they were caught in a catch-22 situation, because the comment was made by one of the closest allies, which is the DMK. But you know, it was in the hustle and bustle of state elections and the Congress realized that not distancing could hurt them, which is why the Congress officially had to come out with a statement that on Sanatan Dharm we are not in sync with the DMK. I guess on this latest stand being taken by the left party as well, the Congress will also come out with a similar kind of a clarification.
Pallavi, can I actually ask you to stay with us?